Top 15 secrets we recently learned about WWE Diva Paige.
If you are brand new to our channel, we invite you to take a moment to subscribe. Just click on the lit red button as well as the gray bell. Why the bell? Well, it will let you know every time we post a new video.
15.
The reasons behind her two wellness policy violations. It is well known that Paige was suspended from WWE on her birthday back in August 2016, but there were different rumors surrounding the reasons for this. Paige finally confirmed that her first violation wasn't to do with her taking drugs. It was the fact that she missed the time capacity when doing the test, which is an automatic fail. She did, however, reveal that the second suspension was because she took drugs. She said that she regretted it and didn't even enjoy taking them, but it was her choice. She later tried to cover this up because she was embarrassed, because she knew that she was supposed to be a role model, but she doesn't blame WWE for suspending her. She said that the company has helped her over the past few months and has always stuck by her despite everything that she's done, which shows that the company obviously still values her.
14.
WWE's biggest stars supported her through her problems. Paige revealed that she spoke to Triple H, Stephanie and Vince McMahon when she was set to return to WWE, and they were all supportive and told her that she could go on to be anything she wanted to be. They told her that they were happy that she was healthy again and that she had returned back home. After she made her return on the Raw after Survivor Series, Paige confirmed that Stephanie came over to her backstage and whispered in her ear, "You're gonna be fine, this is your house." She said that this inspired her, and she still remains completely inspired by the former women's champion, because she told her that she can now use her issues to inspire others, which is something Paige hopes to do in the future. She said that she thinks Stephanie is a hero, and she finds her very empowering as a woman.
13.
Paige thought that her movie would be cancelled because of the leaks. WWE announced back in 2015 that The Rock and Steven Merchant were on board for making a film about Paige's life and career called Fighting With My Family. The film was almost completely wrapped when Paige's name hit the headlines for all the wrong reasons, and the former Divas champion admitted that she thought the movie would be cancelled because of this. Luckily, she said that they believed in the movie so much that they wanted to continue with it. She said that everyone has worked so hard on the movie and she had so many meetings to confirm things about her life, because she wanted it to be perfect. Paige revealed that she has already seen an advanced screening of the movie, and she said that she cried when she watched it because it is just so amazing. She said that this is all down to the cast and the people who were involved in the production.
12.
Paige revealed that she can no longer have children. When Paige was part of Total Divas a few years ago, she confirmed that she was pregnant when she was just 17 years old, and she lost the baby. She talked about this in detail with Lillian and confirmed that she thought she was stupid for getting pregnant at such a young age, but was still devastated to have lost the baby. She said that this gave her an issue with her ovaries, and she required surgery to remove the problem, something that she had done while she was down in NXT, and was cleared the day of NXT arrival, when she became NXT Women's Champion. Paige revealed that, because of this, she can no longer have kids, but she would love to adopt in the future, and she would love that kid like it was her own, so being unable to have children isn't the be-all and end-all here.
11.
The reason behind her breakup with Alberto Del Rio. Paige's relationship with former world champion Alberto Del Rio was one of the main reasons that she was part of so many news stories this year, but the couple broke up a few weeks before Paige returned to WWE TV back in November, and finally Paige was able to give her side of the story. She said that the two broke up because she wanted to fix her life and he wanted to focus on his family. She asked him not to say anything to anyone, because she wanted something about her private life to remain private after a year of the media knowing everything about her, but it was then leaked on Snapchat. She said that she thought that the Snapchat was private, and didn't want the world to find out. She said that she doesn't talk to Del Rio anymore, but she wishes him the best, and confirmed that she definitely doesn't hate him in any way.
10.
10. Cyberbullying affected her after the leaks. Paige was hit hard by her leaked tape scandal, so much so that it affected her health, and there were a number of images that were uploaded of her online looking thin, which caused many of her fans to panic. This led to a lot of cyberbullying, and because she felt so horrible about it at the time, she was diagnosed with stress-induced anorexia. She admitted that she got a lot of comments about her being fat for a while, and this hurt, which led to her drinking and partying throughout 2016 to help her to forget. She said that she felt like she was revisiting her missed childhood, which could be why she fell off the wagon quite a bit throughout the year. Many fans were concerned for Paige at the time, and they tried to support her, but it was only when a little girl told her that she was still her favorite that Paige realized that she could still inspire others, and this helped her to snap into a much better mentality.
9.
9. The Rock actually told Paige that she was making her debut. Paige made her main roster debut in one of the biggest shocks of 2014, when she arrived the night after WrestleMania 30, and ended AJ Lee's record-setting Divas Championship reign, making her the youngest Divas Champion and the only woman to have held the NXT Women's Championship and the Divas Championship at the same time, a record she still holds. Paige revealed that it was The Rock who told her that she would be making her main roster debut the next night on Raw, and told her that he wanted to make a film about her family, because her family reminds him of his own. It has taken a while to get the movie off the ground, but it seems that The Rock has managed to follow through on this, as Fighting With My Family is set to be released in the near future, since the original release date was pushed back due to Paige's personal issues.
8.
8. How the scandal affected Paige and Xavier Woods. Paige was the main victim of the hacking scandal earlier this year, but Paige was on hiatus from the company when the videos were leaked, while her boyfriend, who starred in many of them, Brad Maddox, was released from the company back in 2015. This means that former tag team champion Xavier Woods was the only person in the video that was an active member of the roster at the time, so he gained a lot of heat from this, especially considering his wife was pregnant at the time, expecting their couple's first child. Paige stated that she felt horrible about the fact that Xavier was dragged into the leaks because they were good friends. She didn't want to go into it, and didn't even mention her ex-boyfriend Maddox, but it seems that Paige was more hurt by the fact that her friends were involved in the scandal as well as herself.
7.
7. The truth about her neck surgery. Paige has scoliosis, but it hasn't affected her wrestling career over the past few years. She said that she has all the help that she needs backstage, and has been able to wrestle at the highest level despite the issues with her back. The years of wrestling have taken their toll on her neck, though, which led to her needing to undergo neck surgery last year. The former Divas champion revealed that she took a bump on the outside, and it didn't feel right. This later led to her waking up in agony, but she didn't want to tell WWE, because she knew they would stop her from wrestling. It was only after she botched a few moves in the ring, and put other people in danger, that she came clean. She said that after her surgery she tried to hit the gym straight away, which led to another hernia, so she decided to rest for a few months.
6.
2006. She contemplated ending it all after her recent leaks. Paige's leaked videos and images from earlier this year will be something that will define her career over the next few years, and she is completely aware of that. Paige broke down in tears when she talked about the leaks and the impact that they had on her personal life. She said that she didn't want to leave the house and became a very private person. She even reached the point where she contemplated taking her own life because she hated the fact that she will always be associated with those videos now, no matter what she does with her life. She said she hated reading headlines that were tape scandal star, because that isn't who she is. She said that during that time she became very ill, because of stress-induced anorexia which made her very skinny, her hair began to fall out, and she was really quite sick, which breaks her heart now. 5. She traveled the world alone when she was 14 years old. It is well known that Paige made her wrestling debut when she was just 13 years old because her family was a huge part of the wrestling circuit in the UK at the time. But it seems that Paige began traveling to wrestle just a year later and went from England to Norway when she was just 14 on her own. She went on to travel and wrestle in places like Belgium, Italy, France, Norway, Spain, and Turkey on her own, because she wanted to create a wrestling portfolio for herself. She said that she missed a lot of school time because she was always traveling, but she didn't have many friends, so she never really wanted to be there. Her only real friend at the time was her science teacher, whom she said supported her through most of her adolescence. Paige was wrestling all over the world as a teenager, which could be why WWE finally noticed her a few years later. 4. She doesn't have many friends because she has trust issues. Given the life that Paige has had and managed to keep to herself over the past decade, it should come as no surprise that Paige doesn't have a lot of friends because she has trust issues. She said that she has a lot of trust issues because of past events, which include people who she thought were her friends backstabbing her and being cheated on. She said that she has a small circle, but if she embraces someone as her friend then it means that she trusts you a lot, but she's scared of opening up to people just for them to leave her. It seems that a lot of people have left Paige or turned their back on her throughout her life, and this has left her with a number of psychological scars that she now tries to hide by not opening up to people and becoming friends with people who could hurt her in the future.
3.
Rosa Mendes put her in touch with a therapist. The last year is obviously going to leave a number of scars both physically and mentally on Paige, which has led to her obviously needing professional help. Paige confirmed that Mark Corona was one of the people who helped her throughout the entire process and called her every day, while her friend and fellow WWE star Rosa Mendes put her in touch with the therapist. Paige revealed that Rosa herself had a battle with alcohol addiction, and her therapist helped her through this problem. This was obviously something that Paige needed when she was going through a tough time, and has stated that there is nothing wrong with asking for help. Paige accepted the help and has been able to get her career back on track over the past few months, which has since allowed her to return to WWE TV and pick off where she left off back in 2016.
2.
Paige was bullied from a young age. It's probably hard for many fans of the British star to imagine, but Paige revealed that she had been bullied from a young age at school, and this made her quite ashamed of her parents. It seems that one of the main reasons that Paige was bullied was because her parents were well-known wrestlers, and this wasn't considered to be cool back then. She finally reached a point where she realized that she needed to embrace this fact about herself, because she thought this would help. Instead, people became scared of her, and still didn't want to be her friend. Maybe this is why Paige has always seemed happy to be a loner when she's on WWE TV, and has used the fact that she's different to help other people all over the world to embrace the things that make them stand out. It seems that Paige's past helps her to now help other people through the same kinds of issues.
1.
1. Paige's mother went missing for 6 months, when she was just 14. As well as traveling the world and focusing on a blossoming wrestling career, when she was just 14 years old, Paige's mother Soraya went missing for 6 months. She said that her mother has been a hard worker all her life, and it just reached the point where she broke down from exhaustion. Paige said that her mother had a lot of issues growing up after being abused, and RP'd, and holding it all together became too much for her, so she just broke down. During these months Paige struggled to keep it together as well, and began drinking a lot to dull the pain. It took her a while to realize that she needed to stop and go looking for her mother. When the former Divas champion actually found her mother, she said that she looked like a completely different person after half a year of attempting to remain under the radar.
Yeah.